What's up, everybody? This is Justin Flinner coming to you live from Northern Virginia with the Justin Flinner podcast by My Mentor Medicine. In the next episode of the coronavirus lockdown series, I want to talk to you about how to not be bored, how to be creative. So right now, a lot of us are stuck in our houses. We have been given instructions to not go to work, to not go outdoors, to limit your exposure to other people, social distancing as they're calling it, and shut yourself up in your house for a few weeks or more. For us, we're here for a month. I get to work from home for a month. My kids get to be off from school for an entire month. And that can probably drive pretty much anybody insane, being stuck inside for a month. So I want to talk to you a little bit how you won't move in that direction. You won't become insane, and you won't become bored, and you can still have fun. You can still come up with new ideas, do different things. I know there's a lot of things floating around on the internet. You should check them out as well. But I was doing my own brainstorming, and of course, first thing that came to mind is right now, it's the middle of March. Spring is just around the corner, and we all know spring cleaning. So if your house is a wreck from the winter, from preparing for this lockdown in your own house, then what you can do is sort of go room by room, do your cleaning as you normally would, put things away that don't need to be out anymore, bring things out that need to be out for the coming seasons. And probably when you're in the process of doing that little spring cleaning of yours, you might come across some fun things in your house, like board games. Maybe you got to dust those things off, break them out, sit around the table at night with your family and say, okay, we're going to do one new game a night. So I can't even tell you how many board games I have, from Monopoly, like everybody has, to things like Busy Town, some Rubik's Cube version of a game, to Omega Virus, Axis and Allies, some really hard ones, some really easy ones. I got tons of board games in my house, so I think that's probably one thing that's on the menu for us here at our house. Another thing that we could do is try to reach out to people that we haven't talked to in a while. Even if you are locked up in your house and you're working, or your kids are doing schoolwork, it still gives you the opportunity to chat with people. And you can do that over FaceTime, you can do that over the phone, just send somebody a quick text message, because chances are they're stuck in their house too. So don't be too concerned about bothering anybody at this point in time. Right now, I think people want to be bothered, to be truly honest. I myself am one of those. So if you got my number, if you got a way to get in touch with me, you want to send me some ideas for another podcast, you want to give me some feedback on a podcast, or you just want to chat, I can't meet you for coffee, even though I love coffee, but we could do FaceTime and have coffee that way and still chat up a storm. I got a long list here, so I'm going to read off a couple of these one by one. Number one, this is probably not your favorite thing to do. I personally still have to do this, which is why it is on my list. Taxes. I got to do my taxes. Some of you are probably either done with yours or in the process of completing yours right now. I'm a little behind this season because I just finished with a quarter at school teaching, so now technically I should be on spring break right now, but I got a month. So I got a month to finish my taxes, almost exactly, and that's perfect for me. So taxes is another thing we could do. Going along the lines of doing your spring cleaning, maybe you got some stuff in your house that you got to do. Like for me, I mentioned this in a previous podcast, and I still haven't done it. I have to replace some bathroom fans in my house. Now is the perfect time for me to do this. I should probably commit to doing a video or something on that, so it actually forces me to do it. All of us have little projects in our house to take care of. So this is a great time to actually get those things knocked out. So make a list. Make a list of those activities. Make a list of the things you want to clean in your house. Make a list of the games that you want to play. Let your kids make a list for you. Say, these are the ones that we want to play. It's a great way to bring everybody together. Some other things that I have. Let me look at my list here. I really do have a ton of stuff. And hopefully I didn't just delete it. There it is. Got it. Plan for upcoming holidays. Even though you can't go anywhere right now, and like us, we canceled our plans for spring break. And we had some plans even for summer, but those plans involved going to another country, and we're not really comfortable doing that so close to what will hopefully be the end of this pandemic. So we wanted to push that off. So what can we do for the summer? We're not sure yet. What can we do for the spring? We're definitely not sure yet. So let's make some plans for things maybe a little bit later. If you are really the kind of person who plans ahead, Christmas is coming. In about 9 months, but never hurts to plan ahead, right? Maybe you don't want to order those presents yet, but you could do those phone calls, call those people and say, hey, what's something that you think you might need this year? Or you could just have a random idea, or maybe plan a party. Plan the birthday parties that are, like for my kids, they're both in the summer, so maybe since we're not traveling this summer, we could plan those parties now. Other things that we could look into are, if you do have kids, have some adventures. Create some indoor adventures. Like with my children a long time ago when they were about half their age they are now, we would go to the basement and we would go around the sofa and push the ottoman a little bit away and then bring all the stuffed animals downstairs, and I would cover everything with a giant blanket, and we would develop these little tunnels on our little house, and we would bring books and snacks and all kinds of different things down there. It would be like an indoor camp out. Another thing I would do is my daughter had this little pop-up house. A couple years back I remember doing this. I don't think we have it anymore because with all the playing we've done with it, I think we ripped it to pieces. But we would sit under this little pop-up house, and the two of us would be there looking up towards the ceiling with the house on top of us, and we would pretend that we were in a rocket ship and we would go on a journey. So if you have kids, you can make it a lot of fun right now, even if they are studying, doing some work at home, or you are working at home. You can still make time for that, and this is the perfect chance to do so. One of the other things that actually my kids were talking about with me was dedicating a day to a specific thing. For example, Monday would be music day, Tuesday would be game day, Wednesday would be a reading day, and Thursday would be a free day, and etc. I mean, you get the idea. So dedicating your days to certain activities. These are fantastic ways to just sort of fill in the gaps so that no one becomes too bored during this time. Remember in the last podcast I talked about being a leader. So being a leader, you need to drive these conversations. You need to push forward and say, hey, these are some things that we can do to make sure that we're not just wasting our time. So for me, I'm trying to make an effort to do podcasts. I'm doing these new piano videos that I'm making. I'm doing morning live Tai Chi sessions. And I like to do some live chats in the evening too, but we'll see how that plays out, depending on how sane we all are, given the lockdown that we're all under. Other things that I have here, let's see, learn something new. Is there something that you've always wanted to do at this point? Maybe, the internet is right there. It's at your fingertips. The answer to all your questions is just a 6-letter word. Google. Google it. Look it up online. You want to learn how to speak a different language. Look it up. There's a great app called Duolingo, Duolingo. Somebody introduced that to me, and I use that to help reinforce some of my language studies. Maybe you want to do art. Look up some videos on YouTube, tutorials. Right now for children, there is a gentleman at the Kennedy Center who is an author, or illustrator, I should say, maybe an author, I don't know completely, but he illustrates books, and he's doing online sessions, I think, every day this week. And he actually has a PDF that he uploads. My wife just printed it off. That's how I know about it. And your kids can use that at home as part of their creative time, if you have a creative time built in. I also just heard about someone who's actually doing online classes for people across the country if their schools are closed. A wife and her husband, I think it says like Science Mom and Math Dad, or Science Dad and Math Mom, one of the two. Look that one up. I think they called it Quarantine. Instead of quarantine, they called it Quarantine. Seems pretty interesting. I haven't looked into it, but I just ran across it earlier today. We also have FaceTime, of course. If you have to get in touch with someone, I said you can call them. Another thing you can do is just chat with them via FaceTime. You could teach someone to do FaceTime. You could teach someone to use their phone a little bit more doing these applications, whether it's someone that you live with. Maybe there's an elderly person that you live with. Maybe it's your mom, your dad. Maybe you can teach them remotely. But remind them that they're probably going to end up calling you every 5 minutes, testing it out, or maybe doing a butt dial or something like that when they're walking through their house. Teach them how to use it so they don't call you every single minute of every single day. What else can we think of here? If you're really up to it and you got a lot of neighbors, one thing you might want to do is to think about who lives in your neighborhood. Are there elderly people in your neighborhood right now? Are they able to go to the store? And if they do go to the store, it's probably not the best idea for them to do so. So could you go to their house and say, hey, I know that this is a difficult time for you probably, and if you don't have anybody in the area that's able to help you, I would be willing to do so. Can I go to the store for you and go get some groceries? Or better yet, can I cook you a meal? Can I help you out? What can I do to help you get through this time? Because we're not in this entire situation as individuals. We're in this entire situation. This entire pandemic is affecting all of us as a community. So let's work together. Let's find out, are there people in need around you? Is there someone that lives in your community that might want that freshly cooked meal, that might want you to go to the store for them because they're afraid to do so themselves? We don't know. Maybe you need to walk their dog. Maybe you need to feed their pet because they don't want to go outside. So you could do that for them. What else do I have written here? Go through your old clothes, make a donation pile. I know I have probably a donation pile as big as my house right now. I got a lot of things I would like to give away. Some things I plan on selling. I'm going to hold off on that. Let's see. What else? Anything else here? That's all I have right now. And I'm sure I could come up with 100 other things. I just came up with this very quickly. So what are some things that you would like to do during this time, this month? Do you just want to sit back and catch up on your TV show? Maybe that's a good thing for you. Maybe not. I would suggest using your time constructively and don't just veg on the couch for 2, 3, or 4 weeks, however much time you have. So use your time wisely. Again, remember, podcast 1 in this new series was about becoming a leader and staying focused. And now we have to keep people occupied. Occupied not because that they have to be busy, but because if you're not busy, we know that's going to lead to boredom. People are going to get frustrated. There's not going to be any kind of routine. In order for us to have some kind of a positive outcome in this entire situation, we need to have structure. We need to have a routine. We need to have something to look forward to each day. Right now, our kids started this week, today in fact, having a schedule. They come downstairs from this time to this time, this is what they will be working on. From this time to this time, this is what they will work on. They'll have some free time, they'll get to eat some lunch, scheduled in there, etc. They can help us with all of those things. Have some creative time, some reading time, etc. So we've worked to try to develop a temporary system during this time of uncertainty. And I hope that you can do the same thing for you, for your family, for those in your neighborhood perhaps, if you want to work together with them in some way, shape, or form. But in the end, as I said at the end of last podcast, stay healthy and stay happy. Those are the two things that we need to focus on here. We need to stay healthy and we need to stay happy. And we do that by using common sense, but we also do that by working together. So work together with your family, work together with your neighbors, reach out to people who might need your help, reach out to people who maybe just you want to chat with, or maybe just say, hey, I'm calling because I'm really bored, I feel a little bit lonely, I'm by myself in my house, I just wanted to chat. Everybody, remember, you are not alone in this. Almost every single person in this region, except for those who have to go out and do have to go to work, and we bless you for those of you who do have to do that, who have your own businesses to run, etc. Some of you have to go out, but there are still a lot of people who are in their houses. They can go out if they want to, but they're advised to stay in as much as possible to help reduce the impact of this particular disease. And those are the people that they probably want to be called. Those are the people that probably want to, have a conversation with somebody so they don't go crazy in their own house. So I am not one of those people right now, but if you do want to call me and you want to chat and you know how to reach me, my number is right there in the description of this podcast and all my other podcasts. You can email me if you don't want to chat. If you do want to chat, maybe you want to do a virtual chat and you want to do it via video, I'm happy doing that as well. Just reach out to me, and I'd be happy to just sit down, have a cup of coffee, and, shoot the breeze, as they say. So that's it for this podcast, and don't forget to check out episode 1 of this new series. We got many other podcasts from the Justin Flinner podcast that you can listen to as well, but specifically for this one, I'm trying to hone in on some of the things that are relative to all of us during this lockdown, as I'm calling it now. So have a great day, everyone, and remember, stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll talk to you next time.
This podcast is brought to you by My Mentor Medicine, an organization that is dedicated to helping people improve their lives by learning to empower themselves and take control of their own life. Any form of reproduction or distribution of this podcast is strictly prohibited. Should you have any questions on using this podcast or information that is contained within this podcast, please write to info@mymentormedicine.com.